So, goals for today are really to sort of farm up, but also the Queen's speech was on here in the UK, which is the point in the year when the point in the election cycle when the government lays out what they're looking to do for the year. I've not watched it yet. I'm kind of interested to hear what's going on. I've read various bits from what's come out from it that I know make me mad already, but it'll be interesting to kind of see what is going on there. So we're pretty much going to watch that together to start off with, I think, but while we're just farming and doing the stuff that we need to do in here too, so hopefully it'll still be a lot of good fun. We'll see how it pans out. Yeah, let's go for it, man. Let's put that up for a start.
My Lords and members of the House of Commons, my government's priority is to deliver a national recovery from the pandemic that makes the United Kingdom stronger, healthier and more prosperous than before.
Right.
To achieve this, my government will level up opportunities across all parts of the
As
United
if they're getting
Kingdom,
to say level up.
supporting jobs, businesses and economic growth.
Oh, that's
and
already
addressing
so
the impact
gross,
of the
man.
pandemic on public services. My government will protect the health of the nation, continuing the vaccination program and providing additional funding to support the NHS.
Yeah.
My ministers will bring forward legislation to empower the NHS to innovate and embrace technology.
What does that mean? Like, how...
Patients will receive more tailored and preventative care closer to home.
Right. And this is why I like watching this, because it's interesting to hear the wording. Like, listen to this.
Preventative care closer to home.
Preventative care closer to home. Ergo, we want less people using our healthcare service. Our goal is to have less people, engaging with our services. And yes, we want a more preventative healthcare system. I hugely agree with that. I'm a former personal trainer. I agree with the preventative healthcare system. And closer to... I don't know. Maybe they are just suggesting that they want to open more localized and small pod services and stuff in the community, but I get the feeling that we all know that that means a lot more of this kind of service as opposed to in-person service. I don't know. That's a bit speculative maybe, but it's why I like watching this. That's all I'm saying.
Measures will be brought forward to support the health and well-being of the nation, including to tackle obesity and improve mental health.
Good.
Proposals on social care reform will be brought forward. My government will build on the success of the vaccination program to lead the world in life sciences, pioneering new treatments against diseases like cancer and securing jobs and investment across the country.
Oh, is that a nod? Is that a nod? The thing about AstraZeneca was, I invested in AstraZeneca as an idiot because I didn't obviously clock the fact that, obviously it was not for profit that they did this. But the main reason that they did it not for profit is because AstraZeneca is a very small firm that was already doing some good stuff and was already working on sort of COVID kind of vaccine stuff, as in other variants and strains and things prior to this. But was that a nod to, we want to kind of get the UK engaged in the big pharma world, get those bucks pumping in a little bit more, that the private healthcare of the UK is open for business?
My ministers will oversee the fastest ever increase in public funding for research and development and pass legislation to establish an advanced research agency.
Fair.
Following the unprecedented support provided to businesses during the pandemic, proposals will be brought forward to create and support jobs and improve regulation.
Bit meaningless,
My
but fair.
government will strengthen the economic ties across the Union, investing in and improving national infrastructure. Proposals will be taken forward to transform connectivity by rail and bus and to extend 5G mobile coverage and gigabit-capable broadband.
That best come. Because
Legislation will support
it is a
lifetime
joke. What internet situation is a joke. And the thing about it that I think that a lot of people don't get is I'm based in Edinburgh, and the walls here and the way that everything is laid out is not conducive to good Wi-Fi in general. Like, we have a lot of old buildings, we have a lot of old infrastructure, and we need to get going if we actually want to kind of get anywhere. Yeah, for sure. So they better get that going.
Skills guarantee to enable flexible access to high-quality education and training throughout people's lives.
I kind of missed that.
Measures will be introduced to ensure that support for businesses reflects the United Kingdom's strategic interests and drives economic growth. Laws will simplify procurement in the public sector. 8 new free ports will create hubs for trade.
What was that?
Laws will simplify procurement.
Laws will simplify procurement. Now, we have a government that really enjoys the way that it does things, and if we look back only a couple of weeks, we know for a fact that this government was setting up procurement via WhatsApp groups with people they liked. And I think that's the kind of simplicity that they're really looking for, isn't it? But then again, you know, I've been critical. New Labour left a lot of problems in this area, and it made it a big issue. I know that actually they kind of did a big screw up. But hey, I'm no New Labour fan necessarily, so necessarily not.
In the public sector. 8 new free ports will create hubs for trade and help regenerate communities.
Free ports are good, I think.
My government will ensure that the public finances are returned to a sustainable path once the economic recovery is secure.
We'll do what we can.
Measures will be brought forward to ensure that children have the best start in life.
Good.
Prioritising their early years.
Good.
My ministers will address lost learning during the pandemic and ensure every child has a high-quality education and is able to fulfil their potential.
Yeah, good. Our kids need to catch up.
My government will help more people to own their own home while enhancing the rights of those who rent.
No, they won't. No, they will not. I'm telling you that for a fact right now. I am a 29-year-old person, you know, who would love to be a homeowner. I'd love to be a homeowner so I could set up my exact world. I am sick of the fact that I can't just blue tack posters to the walls and stuff. Like, it's not, you know, I have to ask somebody if I want to own a dog. I'm sick of the way that landlords have control over renters' lives in that kind of a way. And I think there needs to be a lot more stuff to do with that. And that we need a lot more to do with the way that, like, so the big issue as a renter is that you have this deposit system whereby at the end they bill you for any damage done to the property, but that will include reasonable wear and tear. So on numerous occasions I've lived in a property for a few years, you know, it deteriorates slightly, but then they expect it to be as pristine as ever. So you never walk into a clean flat and you're always expected to, like, leave a sterile flat, and they'll charge you through the arse every time. And it's this kind of stuff that, like, trickles money out. Like, it's impossible to save for a deposit in this country, and houses are way too expensive. And I don't think they're going to do shit for us, to be honest. I honestly, genuinely don't think that to be true. But hey, I'd love it to be, you know. God damn it, it needs to
modernise the planning system so that more homes can be built will be brought forward, along with measures to end the practice of ground rents for new leasehold properties. My ministers will establish in law a new building safety regulator to ensure that the tragedies of the past are never repeated.
That's a rough one, and that's a rough topic. But the thing about Grenfell that I think a lot of people don't realise is that the material that was used as the cladding is a lot more widely used than people know. And I think they've done a good job of keeping that quiet, but there are thousands of properties around the UK, thousands of large-scale properties that are dealing with these kind of things where they now have to remove this material at a rate. There is a lot more of that than people are letting on, and so just saying like, oh, we're going to have different planning for the future is not going to cut it. There needs to be quite a lot on that, and
measures will be brought forward to address racial and ethnic disparities and ban conversion therapy. Legislation will support the voluntary sector by reducing unnecessary bureaucracy and releasing additional funds for good causes. My government will invest in new green industries to create jobs while protecting the environment. The United Kingdom is committed to achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 and will continue to lead the way internationally by hosting the COP26 summit in Glasgow.
It's simply too slow.
Legislation will set binding environmental targets. Legislation will also be brought forward to ensure the United Kingdom has and promotes the highest standards of animal welfare.
Good.
My government will strengthen and renew democracy and the Constitution. Legislation will be introduced to ensure the integrity of elections, protect freedom of speech, and restore the balance of power between the executive, legislature, and the courts. My ministers will promote the strength and integrity of the Union. Measures will be brought forward to strengthen devolved government in Northern Ireland and address the legacy of the past.
They don't know what to do.
My government will introduce measures to increase the safety and security of its citizens. Legislation will increase sentences for the most serious and violent offenders and ensure the timely administration of justice. Proposals will be brought forward to address violence, including against women and girls, and to support victims. Measures will be brought forward to establish a fairer immigration system that strengthens the United Kingdom's borders and deters criminals who facilitate dangerous and illegal journeys. My government will lead the way in ensuring internet safety for all, especially for children,
Can I get some help?
whilst harnessing the benefits of a free, open, and secure internet.
Good. Yeah, there's a lot that needs to happen.
My ministers will provide our gallant armed services with the biggest spending increase in 30 years, taking forward their programme of modernisation
What are we doing
and
there?
reinforcing the United Kingdom's commitment to NATO.
Okay.
My ministers will honour and strengthen the
that.
Armed Forces Covenant, placing it in law. Measures will be introduced to provide national insurance contribution relief for employers of veterans. Legislation will be introduced to counter hostile activity by foreign states. My ministers will implement the integrated review of security, defence, development and foreign policy. The United Kingdom will host the G7 summit and lead the global effort to secure a robust economic recovery from the pandemic.
Let's just
My
flag
ministers will deepen trade ties in the Gulf, Africa and the Indo-Pacific.
That could be interesting.
My government will continue to provide aid where it has the greatest impact on reducing poverty and alleviating human suffering.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't have a clue where to spend that money.
Human rights and democracy across the world. It will take forward a global effort to get 40 million girls across the world into school.
Yeah.
Members of the House of Commons, estimates for the public services will be laid before you. My Lords and members of the House of Commons, other measures will be laid before you. I pray that the blessing of Almighty God may rest upon your council.
So yikes from me, dog.